What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Forgo. Today we're going to talk about Cronin, aka K49. Now, Cronin is a really cool character. I mean, he looks cool, and he's a very beloved character from the KOF franchise. If any of you are familiar with K49, who is who this guy is. They changed his hair, they changed a little bit of his aesthetics, they changed his arm, right? But it still looks really cool, or at least he looks really cool. Now, today's video is just going to answer the question as to whether or not should you pull for him. Cronin is probably the strongest character in the game, and I say probably because I don't really know for sure. Right now, he's only A1. Now, I could take him to A2. I do have another memory for the character, but I really wanted to show you guys what he could do at A1 just with one imprint stone that you get from the event codex. And honestly, it's quite nutty what he's actually capable of because of the way his kit is set up. So of course the PG rate, the increased damage on 18% on critical hit, and you're going to see a lot of this, with the critical hits. When you increase this guy's critical rate, it really bumps up his damage because of this, but it also just synergizes a lot with all the hits that he does. He just crits a lot, right? He has 4% critical rate native in his kit. He's got the burn attack increase, which is great for his dot explosion. He has the decreased skill cooldown on a burn target. He has increased burn damage by 120% for 5 seconds upon landing a critical hit. This isn't on a cooldown. I mean, all these things mean his damage is going to go up. I mean, this 120% is going to be up all the time whenever he's applying burn, pretty much. And then upon leaning Heat Shield EX, resets Fusion Blaster charging cooldown and increases damage dealt to targets by 25% for 5 seconds, which is awesome, guys. Really adds to his damage. This is actually resetting his third skill. And then he's immune to Petrify and Darkness, and he also has a heal when attacked with Ultimate Move. Now, this is on 10-second cooldown. This is actually really cool and a new unique effect for a character in Kofus, because every time an opponent does an ultimate, and it doesn't matter what game mode they're in, guys, it could be Epic Quest, it could be the Tower of Trials, it could be Guild Raid, he gets this heal, which is pretty wild, man. It really increases his survivability tremendously. And then when his HP is 30% or less, becomes immune to damage for 3 seconds. This is an automatic immunity for that 3 seconds on a 12-second cooldown, and then he also has a 30% chance to become immune to damage for 4 seconds when attacked. I mean, they really, even though he doesn't have a shield, you'll actually find that Kronen has a pretty wild amount of survivability. It's actually really good. Just nutty, on top of the fact that he also has a heal in his 3PG. So he's got a pretty cool kit because whenever you use your first skill, he petrifies everybody on the screen. Now, this is on a 7-second cooldown. So whenever you're spamming your skills, you're not always going to petrify. You have to wait for that 7-second cooldown to reset itself. But it's just nutty because it applies Petrify to every character on the screen. He also has an attack based off defenses by 70%, which is an insane attack. And he can apply Flame to all the characters on the screen for 8 seconds, and the same for the second skill. This also has a nice attack buff by 40%, and it can apply the Infernal Flame for 8 seconds. So he's got 2 skills that apply the Infernal Flame to all characters on the screen, which is wild, guys. And then, his charge skill, his third skill, Fusion Blaster, he gains Hyper Armor. He has an increased target damage received by 30%. When it's fully charged, it's by 40%. And then, whenever you just tap it, it's 4.5 times explosion. And then whenever you hold it, it is 5.5 times explosion, unless you've used your Awakened skill. Now, the PvP exclusive removes the target shield or damage immunity upon landing hit. Really great for PvP. That is really nice. And the other PvP exclusive on the first skill, 50% chance to remove the target's hyper armor or critical hit shield. So he's also going to be really solid in PvP because of those effects. And then he has a 70% chance to reset his skill with the 3PG. This is pretty interesting because in his EX core, he has concentration. He can actually reset this skill up to 3 times. You could literally reset the skill, and he has a 70% chance to reset his active skills and do his 1, 2, 3, do the default, do the 1, 2, 3, do the default, do the 1, 2, 3, because this character is really fast. I really am curious how that would play out when you have him at A5 and you have that EX core unlocked. I'm curious, right? I haven't seen any videos yet regarding this. I haven't seen any A5 Kronins out there yet. I'm sure some people have them, but I just haven't seen them yet. I am curious how that core effect would work because this does have a high chance of resetting the skills. So, I don't know if you would hit your default, hit your concentration, hit your default, and then go 1, 2, 3 with your active skills, hit your default again, 1, 2, 3 with active skills, or if you just would do your default over and over, or maybe it would depend on the game mode that you're actually playing in. It's something I'm really curious about. I'm not going to be able to get Krohnen to A5. I mean, you guys know that I've already spent a good amount of money on this banner, and my luck was pretty abysmal, so yeah, it just isn't happening. But he also has a healing striker effect. Now, for his Emperor Stones, I just had the first EX Emperor Stone that just increases active skill damage by 10%. And you want to use his EX stones if you do get them. If not, just give him a double attack stone with burn. I mean, that's really all you guys got to do. Find a purple stone. Let me see if I can find one here really quick. There we go. And we want burn, right? So this is for a balanced TIE fighter. This is for a balanced TIE fighter. I'm kind of looking for one for defense, but there we go. So this one would be perfect for him. Increase attack, increase your burn, and increase defensive fighter attack stats. You'll get a total of increased attack by 22%. If you don't end up having the EX stones, these types of stones for Kronin would be really, really good, and I would slap them in all those. You could also go with, he does have, let's see, he does have Blast, and then he also has Blast. So, you could give him an increase to Blast Stone as well. That would probably be very beneficial for him. Now, I don't have his EX cores unlocked. Obviously, guys, for CP, you would want to unlock all of these. But for damage, you definitely want to unlock all of these. And for damage, I definitely would go probably with the second and third skill. For the damage, I'd probably prioritize these two here and then do this one last. Or, considering his core with Concentration Finisher, because this actually resets his default over and over and over. This resets it for 6 seconds, right? So maybe you probably would go default 1, 2, 3 with your skill, default 1, 2, 3 when you actually use it. Honestly, it looks really, really OP, right? So because of that, and because of the fact that you'd probably use your default, you would probably level up his default first and definitely level up his dot explosion skill the most. These two would be the ones that I would prioritize. And then I'd probably go with the second skill, and this is a skill I can reset a skill. And then I'd probably, go with this one here last. But I would prioritize the default, especially if you're going to give him to A5 and do concentration. If you're not planning on taking him to A5, then I would prioritize the third skill, then the second skill, these two first, and then the first skill. Now, Ignite here actually gives him an increase of burn to all enemies by 35% for 15 seconds. This is actually really, really good for Cronin because he does have burn explosion. So, but you're going to use this skill and then you can't use your awaken skill. So I really think concentration would be better. But the runs that you guys are going to see today, he doesn't have any buffs at all on his core, right? I could level this up, give him an increased attack by 2,000, but I'm not doing it. Now, I am running with a pretty OP card set. I'm running with the successor set. Now, I can tell you guys already that this set is not the best for Cronin. It doesn't do the most damage. It just doesn't. Actually, the Yantama set will do more damage than this set. I'll probably end up doing another video about it, but the Yantama set that actually increases burn by 75% does more damage. And that set from the Rush Dungeon will also do more damage because it's going to do pretty much the same kind of effect. Now, we're going to run with this successor set here, and then we're also going to be using some different cards here for the runs that you're going to see. So let me slap on the cards that we need here. We're going to put this card on him, because this here has a transcend stat that actually increases critical rate by 2%. Right, and then we're going to change this card to another critical rate card, this one right here. So we got a lot of critical rate in his kit right now. He's got 21%, which is a lot. He's going to do a lot of critical hits, and his affinity is at level 10. Obviously, you always want to get your characters to level 9 or level 10. So you can get all the buffs, so you can get that critical damage by 12%. After that, you're just going to get some souls, and I'll just use those for salvaging later on. So the first thing I want to show you guys is how his core works. This is actually really, really cool. And we'll just do like a little example run in Tower of Trials. Now, this is going to be stage 85, guys. This is way up there. But the reason I want to show you this is because I think this is a big reason why Kronen might be valuable for some players. Now, before we do this, I just want to stress that you're only going to get 3,000 rubies in here past stage 60. You know, you got to spend 18,000 rubies just to go to pity to get Cronin just once, unless you get lucky through the pity where you get Cronin a few times. And you have to also have to go for a 3PG, which costs about 9,000 rubies. So it takes 27,000 rubies in total. So 27,000 rubies for 3,000 rubies really isn't worth it. So if this is the reason that you're doing it, it isn't worth it to me. Now, the thing about this, though, is he is kind of foolproof because we get future game modes where they have these kind of things going on where, you know, opponents are going to be using their finishers all the time. This is actually going to be quite nice. So let me show you how this works, man. This is pretty damn crazy. Now, I'm not going to be using a healing striker. I'm just going to show you guys, like, how long he can survive just at A1 against Ignis in stage 85. This is wild, right? So right there, we're getting a heal. You notice we didn't take any damage at all. All right, and now we're just plotting. Now, I want you to also notice, guys, that he's doing damage. Like, he is actually getting it done. He is doing damage right now. Now, just imagine what this guy would do. Okay, so we definitely don't like that. And remember, you know, if you're playing with other characters and you're switching in, right, over and over and over, you're going to be able to keep this guy's immunity up the whole time. Now, right now, the poison's applied, so we're going to die, guys. We're going to die because of that poison. But look at that heal, right? That is awesome. And just look at how long this guy's surviving, right? No shield, right? And, you know, we died because of the poison. But the fact that he lasted that long is pretty crazy. I mean, just think what he would be like if you had him leveled up, right? He's going to be freaking godly in this because if you're using a character like this in this game mode, right? Because the fact that he gets a heal every time Ignis is doing his ultimate or whoever is doing their ultimate in this game mode, he's gonna get that 15% recovery heal, and then his immunity core will always take effect when he gets down to 30% HP. Like, his survivability is actually quite nutty. So, like, if I was using other characters in this, I could just switch to them, right? Whenever the poison gets applied, just switch to them, and then whenever I bring him back in, right? If Ignis does his ultimate, we'll get a heal, and then we'll get above that 30% recovery threshold. Once we get down to 30%, then his immunity will actually take effect. That is quite nutty, guys. That is quite insane that he can do that. It's actually really, really cool. Now, the game mode really isn't that relevant at this point because, again, you can only get 3,000 rubies past stage 60. But it just shows you how good he can actually be for other game modes as well, like Epic Quest, even in the tower that they've actually put in the game mode where you use them in here. I've used this character all the way up to level 28 at A1. At A1. And at level 25, guys, I mean, we got 67,000 CP, right? And check this out, man. Watch this. This is also something that's pretty cool whenever you play on auto mode because they'll always get heals every time they do their ultimates. But here we can actually petrify, unlike in Tower of Trials. Now, he also has a decreased skill cooldown, but you got to remember, it's only when a burn is applied. Okay, so she's attacking us, right? We don't have immunity, but we got a hell of a heal. Let's go, right? And look at the damage she's doing, right? We got 67,000 CP, and they recommend way, way more than that at this point in the game. And this is the stage where you finally get those final amount of shards as well, right? I mean, he just absolutely murdered this thing, right? And you're not going to need the successor set or anything. You just put a Mad Tea Party set on him, and he will do just fine, guys. He'll gain a lot of CP just from slapping a Mad Tea Party set on him. I mean, he's just crazy. I mean, this is pretty damn easy, guys. Like, he just flies through it. Then he gets a heal with his 3PG on top of the heal that he gets from the core. Uh-oh. But are we worried? No. Now, our immunity core actually took effect right there. And dead. Right? And this is where you can get all 60 of those shards in here so you can get a stone for this guy. So, I mean, and he did it easily, guys. He wouldn't even need that much. I mean, at level 25, you need 101,000 CP is what they say. And I just did that with 67,000 CP. You won't even need 67,000 CP to get all the shards that you need. Now, obviously, you want to go to the top so you can get the BS memory or SS memory. But still, that's nice, guys. So it just goes to show you that if you do pull for Kronin and you get him just to A1, he can probably go all the way to at least level 25 for you and get all of them shards so you can get the stone that's for him, the moon or star-shaped stone, which is awesome. Now I'm going to show you guys like what he's capable of doing in Guild Raid on his own. So in Guild Raid, I will do a complete solo with this character on Inferno, guys. We're not going to switch him. We're not going to be using any other characters. Nothing like that. Right? We're not going to use a healing striker. We're just going to use good old Keo, right? We're just going to use good old Keo right there for our striker because Keo's striker bonus, is freaking nuts, right? His striker bonus is crazy because he gives the power gain, but look at this. This is always up. He's going to give the burn damage by 20%, which increases Cronin's explosion, but also decreases skill cooldown by 1 second, right? And the only difference in the build that you guys can see is I actually took off this card here and put in the Shermie option card so we could always be applying shock because we're going to have all that extra critical rate. And I'll bring it up for you guys right now. This is wild, right? I don't know if we'll play. We might skip a little bit. We might kind of speed through some of this. But you're going to get the drift of how good he actually is. Now, is it a big deal that he's going to be able to do this? No, not really, because plenty of characters can get the max score. But it just shows you guys how strong this character is on his own. We're only applying 1 dot. Remember, whenever you apply 2 dots, you can break the meter even faster. And we're just applying 1 dot whenever we're hitting critical hits because of the Shermie option card, which is shock, right? This is infernal, guys. This is infernal. And he does an insane amount of hits. So because he does a lot of hits, he also will break meters very, very fast. And I gotta say that Kronen's also extremely quick. This dude's skills, his animations are super fast. And you'll also notice that his charging on his 3rd skill is godly fast. I mean, it's just like, pew, pew. As soon as you hit it, that thing just skyrockets. Like normally with a lot of these characters that have charge skills, whenever they hit their charge, it takes a little bit for it to charge up. Whereas with Kronen, it is super, super fast, which is awesome, guys. It really, really helps as far as doing a bunch of damage throughout your runs, and it also helps as far as rotating through your skills or rushing through your skills at a much faster rate. I mean, this guy is crazy, and of course his 3PG doesn't get erupted, and he's immune to darkness. So for like Guild Raid, whenever darkness is applied on the ground, he's not going to be taking damage. He can still take damage as far as like, becoming stagnant and getting hit a bunch of times, but he won't take damage actually from the darkness, which aids in his survivability even more so. So we've already hit 500 million in half of this run. 500 million complete solo using 1 dot on Inferno at A1. No EX core leveled up, no attack buffs leveled up, nothing like that. Think about that. That is pretty damn nutty. So I really feel like people who are going to have Kronen, they're going to be pretty damn happy with this character, right? Not to mention his animations are gorgeous and the 3PG looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, they're going to be happy with this character. He is quality, and it's awesome that the second skill resets the third skill because the third skill does the explosion. So sometimes you might be in a moment where there is no burn applied, so when you do the explosion, it won't do as much damage. But because you can actually hit the second skill and it can actually reset the third skill, you'll apply burn from the second skill and then do the explosion with the third skill, so you're gonna do even more damage. They really gave this character a really amazing kit as far as his core, with his immunity, with his heal. I really like what Kofus is doing, at least with animation, or not with animations, but with core effects, because they're making characters different from each other and unique from each other. I mean, guys, look at this, right? He's hit 1.1 billion. That is almost one key in Inferno doing a complete solo. Doing a complete solo on his own. And there are other leaderships in this game that are actually better than his. I mean, his leadership, well, I was actually just on it, but his leadership gives, EX fire attack by 40%, critical rate by 12%, which is great for his critical rate. We're going to do lots of critical hits. That Shermie option cards are going to proc a lot. But you could give him different leaderships that are actually even better, right? So that's also something else to think about. I mean, this character is he's pretty damn awesome, and I usually I would get a little discouraged when I don't see characters with shields, but when you see how good his survivability is, and of course his damage is absolutely insane, then you kind of think, well, this it really is nutty the amount of damage he's doing. But should you pull for him? Should you go for him? I mean, guys, it's really up to you. And the other thing is, like, I think he's even stronger with the card set, right? He's going to do even more damage with this card set because, one, it's going to give the extra critical rate, which is going to be nice for a little extra CP, but it's also going to be nice because every time you use your Awakened skill, for every PG bar that's on the screen, he's going to gain 20% attack. And this works on any character, by the way. I mean, I honestly would like to go for that card set because I am really, really curious how good it actually is. And I'll probably end up doing another video about the Rush Dungeon set, maybe versus the Antama set, or whatever you guys might like to see. But Cronin really is an absolute monster, man. This guy really is insane. So let me know what y'all think about Cronin. I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. TNT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody.